All right. So this meeting will be recorded for anyone who's interested in. So once again, welcome to the University of South Florida's Rehabilitation Counseling and Disability Sciences Program information session. We're going to start this off by doing some faculty and staff introductions. And so we are going to let Dr. Vicki Buckles start that off for us. Dr. Buckles, how are you?
I am wonderful. So I'm Dr. Vicki Buckles. I am the interim program director for the CRMHC, so the Clinical Rehabilitation and Mental Health Counseling Program, which the RCDS program is a part of that. So I've been with the university for about 9 years. I teach a lot of the clinical classes in our CRMHC program, and I'm here to support the RCDS students and program as well.
Thank you. And we also have Dr. Amanda DePippo on the call with us, I believe.
Yes, I'm
Dr.
here.
DePippo.
Thank you. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am also in the Clinical Rehabilitation and Mental Health Counseling Program. I'm an associate professor of instruction and also the interim associate program director for both programs. I teach a lot of the clinical classes and also do the field placement for the on-campus program. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. DePippo. Next up, we have Dr. Leah Worthy.
Hey everyone, I am Dr. Leah Worthy. I am an assistant professor and the field placement coordinator for the online program. So I get to work with a lot of you as you progress through the program. But it's good to see everyone here, and thank you for coming to our info session.
Thank you, Dr. Worthy. And we have Tatiana Acosta on the call with us as well.
Hello, my name's Tatiana Costa. I'm an academic program specialist for the EE Rehabilitation Counseling and Mental Health Counseling Program. Mental Health Counseling Program, and I also support this RCDS program as well. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you for all those introductions. I'm sorry.
No, well, all I was going to say is Tatiana will be available to monitor the chat throughout. So if there are questions that come up and you want to put it in the chat, please do so. And then she will kind of collect those to, ask towards the end of the info session. So thank you, Tatiana, for that support.
Thank you. And I'm Dr. Brandon Worthy. I'm an assistant professor of instruction and program coordinator for the RCDS program. And if anyone has any further questions after the information session today, we're going to have time for questions. But if you want to meet after this information session, anyone who's interested can reach out to me, send me an email, and I'd be glad to meet with you one-on-one as well to discuss the program further. All right, so that takes care of the introductions. The next thing we're going to do is just review the RCDS mission statement. And so the mission of the RCDS program is to improve the quality of life for people with disabilities and their families by educating graduate students with the essential skills, knowledge, and dispositions needed to become ethical, responsive, and culturally competent professionals working in the field of human services. And Dr. Leah Worthy is going to take it from here.
Yes. All right. So we wanted to give you guys some highlights about our program. So it is a fully online program. There are 19 classes for 60 credit hours total, but it is fully online. We also have KCREP accreditation, which is new. We got that this spring. So that assures that we are teaching to a high standard of quality that is needed for professional rehab and mental health counselors in the field. We've also been recognized by the CRCC as a center of excellence. So again, we are teaching to the standards required of the CRC board. Another benefit of this program is that you do have opportunities to become both a rehab counselor or a licensed mental health counselor or licensed professional counselor, depending on what state you're in. So definitely some flexible employment options once you graduate. And with both of our accreditations and recognitions, we do teach to train both rehab counselors and then also mental health counseling skills. Another large benefit of this program is that it's flexible for working professionals. We have a lot of current students who are currently working in the field. That online format allows for flexibility. There are a majority of classes are self-paced online where you have modules and you can work through them at your own pace and have something due each week. For our more clinical classes where we are teaching the counseling skills and internships and practicums, we do meet online. All of our class meetings are via Teams, and we tend to hold them in the afternoons. We try to do 6 to 7:30 so that people who work have enough time to get home, to increase that flexibility for working professionals. The program is specialized for people who want to work with people with disabilities. Our primary focus is training rehabilitation counselors, but part of that is some of those clinical skills. So we do work with both, but the heavy emphasis in this program is for working with individuals with disabilities. The program also, did someone say something? All right, sorry. The program also emphasizes advocacy and social justice. So we have a class that is specifically tailored to advocating for people with disabilities and providing them informed care. So those are some of the highlights of our program. You can go to the next slide. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, this program primarily trains rehabilitation counselors. So you would be eligible once you graduate from this program to become a certified rehabilitation counselor, but you do need to take and pass the CRC exam. So this exam is offered 3 times a year. It's offered every March, July, and October. The exam itself costs $420. This is the credential that certifies that you are a qualified rehab counselor, and it makes you more marketable to employers. If you're currently working in the field, it could potentially make you eligible for promotions. And it also enhances the quality of services that you provide to people with disabilities by ensuring that you are an ethical counselor, you're up to date on best practices in the field. With this exam, you can take it for the first time while you're actually in the program. Once you've completed 75% of our coursework, you can sit for the exam. And if you do get accepted into the RCDS program, I will provide you guys with a lot more information about the exam, how to register for the exam. During internship, we spend a good deal of time going over the registration process. And then also reviewing for the exam with a study session. So by the time you are eligible to take the exam in our program, you are going to be well prepared between what you've actually learned in all of our classes and then the CRC review that we do. And like I mentioned earlier, our program is recognized by the Rehab Commission as a program of excellence, which means that all of our classes do align and we teach the competencies that the CRC recognizes and tests for on their exam. So when you graduate, you will be well prepared to complete that exam and then work in the field. We can go to the next slide. All right, so because we do have our KCREP accreditation, you're also eligible to earn your mental health counseling license. And so depending on where you are, different states all have different requirements and different licenses. So you would either be eligible for an LPC or an LMHC. So while we do focus primarily on training rehabilitation counselors, we also do still teach the skills and competencies needed to be a mental health counselor. So mental health license requirements are different in each state. There's different numbers on how many hours supervised you need once you graduated, or differences in classes or continuing education courses you need as part of that registration process. So since this is an online program and we have students across the nation, what we recommend is if you want to get your mental health counseling license after you graduate from this program, definitely at the start of the program, look into what your state's licensure board says to get more detailed information. And then if you have questions, I can help look at those requirements as well. But do make sure that you understand that it is different state to state, unlike the CRC, which is reciprocal across all states.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I was muted. There's always that, at least one in every meeting. And today it was me. So just to give you a little bit idea of the field that we're talking about, it's in growing demand. So both mental health, covering substance abuse, behavioral health disorders, mental health disorders, you're seeing a huge growth in job opportunities. So again, a lot of our students are either currently working in the field and doing this to gain additional credentialing, or are able to secure a job or maybe even a higher paying job after receiving their degree and gaining credentialing. So mental health counseling definitely within demand, and in that growing field. And then next slide. We're also seeing the same growth in rehabilitation counseling fields. So there is a need in people who specialize in individuals with disabilities and understand that unique population and the things that they're going. So while some of this may look, I think the thing to take away is that there is a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity with credentialing, either as a licensed mental health counselor, professional counselor, or as a rehabilitation counselor in the field.
All right, and so what we have here is just an example of what a full-time plan of study looks like for the program. You'll notice on this that the start semester for this plan of study is a fall start. The plan of study will be similar for a spring start. If you're interested in seeing what that plan of study looks like, please let us know. We could share one with you. And but you'll notice on the left-hand side, you'll see under semester that there are fall A, fall B, spring A, spring B, summer C. You'll see that throughout our courses. They're listed. And that's indicating that that course is an 8-week class or a 16-week class, depending. And while our classes are 8 weeks, you're still getting the same amount of information that you would get in a 16-week course. However, the information that you receive each week is doubled up to make the time for the class shorter. So if you have any additional questions about that, please let us know. On the next slide, we have a part-time plan of study. So we do offer a part-time track for students who are interested. And this is an example of that as well. And typically a full-time start for a full-time plan of study, you will complete the program in 2 years. And under the typical part-time plan of study, it takes 4.
And there's a couple questions in the chat. Did you want to answer
Okay.
those now or at the
Yeah,
end?
yeah, we can look into that for sure.
Someone asked, can we earn an LPC or LMHC in Illinois and where to look that up? It would
Okay.
be under state's requirements. What would you look up specifically? It would just be like
I,
Illinois LMHC
I just
requirements,
put it in
right?
the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
yeah. And for whatever state that you're working in, if you'll just do a Google search for the mental health licensure board for that state, you should be able to find some contact information. And oftentimes the easiest way to find out is either going to their website or just reaching out to them directly and just asking. Um, and since each state's different, it's hard to keep an accurate list going so that we can provide everyone with that information. But if you're not able to find that answer, reach out to one of us. Send me an email, and I'll see if I can help you find that. I see another question. What if someone is enrolled in rehabilitation counseling program For DHH right now, would they be able to enroll in this program to use as transfer credits?
So I can speak to that really quickly because there was also a question earlier. If you have an earned master's degree, just to clarify on that, if it's already classes have counted towards a master's degree that you have gotten, those cannot be transferred into this program. If you are currently working on a master's level classes that have not been used to get a awarded degree, we can look at those classes and consider those for being transferred in. So for instance, this person who's currently in a rehabilitation counseling program, we would ask that we look at the syllabi for the courses that you're wanting to transfer into our program. And then we would make a judgment as to whether they match the same standards that we're trying to teach, because as a K-CREP accredited program, we would want to see if it is also a K-CREP accredited program that doesn't, we would have to look and see at what they teach and if it matches as a K-CREP accredited program, if it matches, and then we could make a judgment call on those transferred credits. If that's something that, and Dr. Worthy, I'm going to kind of put you out there, Dr. Brandon Worthy, as far as if that's something that you are really looking at applying and wanted to transfer out our program, I do believe that Dr. Brandon Worthy be very willing to meet with you and have a discussion on what courses you might have already completed and how that would align with our curriculum.
That's correct. I'd be happy to meet with you. And also, when you come to that meeting, bring the syllabi for the courses that you're interested in transferring, because that gives us a better idea of the information that those courses contain. So, all
And
right.
then there was another question. What does it look like if you look like to already have a LPC?
So I can kind of
So-
speak to that, Dr. Worthy, if you would like. If you
Sure.
are already an LPC, this is going to give you that specialty in people with disabilities. And so understanding that disability advocacy, the CRC background. So, if you are interested in adding a certified rehabilitation counselor credential to your LPC and kind of getting that unique and specialized training, that would be the benefit of doing something like this. And us being a K-CREP accredited program, if you were looking at becoming licensed in a state, for instance, the state of Florida requires you to graduate from a K-CREP accredited program. So if you were to say, hey, I want to move to Florida and I want to become an LMHC, you would have graduated from a K-CREP accredited program, making you eligible to do the requirements of the licensure board to then get an LMHC. So it might also expand states in which you would then meet their criteria for licensure.
And then there's another.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tatiana. I did not mean to interrupt you. I apologize. I was going to say the same thing, though. I see that we have another question. If we took the part-time option, but wanted to take extra courses to speed up the process, can we? The answer is yes, you can. However, some courses are only offered at certain points in the year. So if you decide to start on the part-time option, discuss your plans with your advisor so that they can help you design that plan of study so that you can reach your goals in the amount of time that you're looking to do so in, but also to make sure that the classes are offered at the times that you want to take them. So all students are, it's recommended that all students reach out to your advisors at least once per semester. And when we have these advising sessions, that your plan of study is something that we'll review. And if there are ways to help you expedite your program, we are always looking to help you there. So.
Right. So field placement. As part of this program, you will have 2 field placement experiences. Your first one is your practicum, where you get 100 hours of field experience, and then you have internship, where you get 600 hours of field experience. So when you leave the program, you have a total of 700 hours working in the field. This field experience is a great place for you to apply everything that you've learned in class with actual clients and then get that hands-on experience working with a population that you'd like to work with. So internship being 600 hours, it's offered in spring and fall over a 16-week course or a 16-week semester. And so to get those 600 hours, it is 40 hours a week to get all of those hours. We will work with you to help you identify a placement, but ultimately it is up to you to secure your own site. You're responsible for contacting potential agencies, sending them your application materials, going through whatever interview processes, background checks that they have. But we are there to help you make sure your sites align with our requirements. And that your sites also align with what you want to do after and what your goals are, so that you not only are developing yourself professionally, but also meeting the goals set by our accreditation. With field placement, if you are currently working in the field as a mental health rehab counselor or working with any rehabilitation or mental health agency or organization, you can use your current job as your field placement site. It's always a bonus if you are already working and you can continue getting paid for your field experience and then get that class credit as well. If you are working, what we do is work with your current supervisor at your organization to make sure that you are meeting all of the requirements of a rehabilitation counselor. If not, then giving you extra responsibilities to challenge you in your position so that you can apply all of those skills and knowledges that you've learned and are required for our accreditation and for the license. But if you aren't currently working in the field, then you can meet with me or your advisor and we'll help you navigate finding a field placement. Like I said earlier, I am the field experience coordinator. So if you have questions about your field experience, practicum, and internship, please send me whatever questions you have and I'm more than happy to answer them.
All right, so we want to talk a little bit about program cost, and the RCDS program is unique in the fact that we have a flat rate for credit hours. And so the flat rate is $600 per credit hour, and that's regardless of where you reside. So you could be an in-state or out-of-state student. Whether you're degree seeking or non-degree seeking, it is a flat rate of $600 per credit hour. It is a 60 credit hour program. So $600 at 60 credit hours comes to a total of $36,000. There is an additional fee. I believe it's $35 per semester that students will notice as well. In addition to that, we use supervision assist for placement and other excuse me, other classes where your clinical skills are assessed. And so for that, there's a $250 charge. And there is currently, if you're interested in financial aid, reach out to the university's financial aid office. We also do a state tuition reimbursement program, but we do not allow for the tuition waiver program. And so those are two very different things. And if you're not familiar with that and would like more information, please reach out to us after the meeting and we'll be happy to provide you with that as well. You'll see on this slide also, there is RSA Scholar at the bottom. And so we have applied for the RSA grant. We should receive notification this month as to whether or not we are going to receive that. If we do receive the RSA grant, then there will be RSA scholarships available in the future. And so that's something to keep an eye out for and just be on the lookout for and apply for it if it's something that you're interested in. Is there anything that anyone would like to add to the program cost or any questions regarding program cost? Okay. All right. Well, we can go to the next slide then.
All right. So we hope that some of you guys would like to apply after hearing about the program. And so I did want to touch on the application process. Our application process is fairly straightforward. So if you click on the application portal link that is included in the slide, it will take you straight to the portal. But you can also go onto our website, and on the left-hand side, there's a tab that'll say Apply Now, and it'll direct you to that portal. But the application portal will have you fill out basic demographic information, and then it will prompt you to submit your application materials. So first thing we need is a statement of purpose. So we want to know why you're applying, why you want to work in the field, why you think you'd be a good fit in our program. Just an overview of all of those. We also would need a resume or a CV. We also need 3 letters of recommendation. When you submit your letters of recommendation, you fill in the person who's writing that letter, their information, and then they are notified automatically through the portal using the email address that you provide. If you are still in school or recently graduated, we do want to see one of those letters of recommendation coming from a professor. But if that's not an option, we'd like it to be somebody who supervised you or someone who was in a leadership role working with you, and either someone who supervised you in work experience or volunteer experience. We also do need a copy of your transcript. If you graduated from USF, you don't actually have to send the transcript. We have access to it, but if you graduated from another university, we do need an official transcript sent. We also need GRE scores. So with the GRE scores, if you have any experience, personal, professional, experience working in a rehabilitation agency or organization, or any experience working with people with disabilities, reach out to us at the program email, and we will send you a waiver for the GRE. There's a GRE waiver, so if you are eligible, then you wouldn't have to actually take the GRE and submit your scores. You would be waived from it if you are determined eligible based on your previous experience working with people with disabilities. We also need to do a background check since you are going to be working with clients during our program, and a lot of our sites do require a background check anyways. So as part of our application process, after you submit all of these information to the portal, we will review it, and then based on that review, if you move on to the next step, Dr. Brandon Worthy will reach out with you to conduct a phone interview so that we can get some more information on your career goals and your fit for the program. So this phone interview is a chance for us to get to know you better, learn more about your experiences in the field, and then, like I said, your career goals. Also, with the portal and the application in the portal, there is a fee, so you'll have to pay that fee through the portal, and then you'll get your confirmation that the application was submitted. With the confirmation of the application submission, just be aware that sometimes it does go to spam, so make sure you check there to confirm everything was received. Also, once you submit your materials, if you have any questions, just reach out to us if you want us to check to make sure we received everything, if you can't find that email for whatever reason. Or if you have any questions during the application process, just reach out to one of us and we would be more than happy to assist. For applications, the deadline for our spring 2027 cohort would be October 15th, so in about a month. And if you are wanting to start fall 2026, sorry, spring 2026 and then fall 2026, the application for our fall start is June 1st.
And there is a question about the RSA funding. Is there an estimate about the amount of potential RSA funding?
It's going to depend on what we get awarded if we get awarded. So we do not have an estimate at this time. Right. So if anyone wants any more information, this is a QR code and a link that goes to our website, where you can find all information, all of our contact information as well. But we are going to open it up for questions now.
I see that there's a question about a GPA requirement. And so the minimum GPA that is required by the program is 3.0. And we don't, and if you have questions about that, reach out to us. We can discuss that a little further with you as well. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand, whichever you'd prefer. When will the application open for fall 2026? It will open in the spring.
It's open now, actually. So when you go to the application portal, you select what semester you want to start. So you would just select the fall 2026 option.
All right, there's a question. Can you use your degree to work as a rehabilitation counselor in Illinois? Yes. So the students that complete our program are prepared to become certified as rehabilitation counselors. And as a CRC, it is recognized in all 50 states, the CRC is. So
I do want to clarify with that. We've met with a lot of different state agencies across the nation. Some agencies will allow you to start working, the state agencies, while you're in the master's program, before you earn your CRC credential and you take that exam. Some states, I know New Jersey is one of them, you already have to have your credential to start working with them as a rehab counselor. But like Dr. Brandon Worthy just said, once you complete this master's, you are eligible to sit for your CRC exam and prepared to sit for it. It's just a matter of taking the exam and passing it. So just if not all states are like that, like I said, just check if you are looking at a state agency, just check with them to make sure that whether they require you to already have the credential or not.
all right, any other questions?
Hi, yes, sorry. My name's Jeff. I'm an advisor within the College of Public Health for undergraduate students at the University of South Florida. I was just curious if you all had anything you would recommend to an undergraduate student who is interested in, your graduate program, any recommended undergraduate classes or like volunteer experience, particular work experience. Anything that if I meet with them and they tell me that they're interested in something like this, I can tell them, yeah, well, actually, look into this before you apply. This will make you stand out as a competitive candidate, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I always like to recommend volunteer experience. I think that's a great asset for anyone who's applying, and also it gives prospective students an idea of what what working in the rehabilitation field is going to look like, or what it could potentially look like for them, for sure. Is Dr. Leaworthy or anyone, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I would definitely recommend volunteer experience working with people with disabilities in whatever factor and avenue that the student's interested in. Just having that hands-on experience helps with the application process and their foundational knowledge for our program.
And also, just to put a little kind of plug out there that you could also tell students is that we do have an undergraduate class that we teach That's called Disability and Popular Culture. So that can give them some exposure to the topic. So if they're considering and they're still have some credit availability in their degree, they could consider that course as a opportunity to kind of get a touch into what disabilities look like and what CRC, rehabilitation counseling field, and understanding those unique aspects would be like.
All right, any other questions? All right. Well, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with us and learn more about our program. And we appreciate your interest in our program. And as I said earlier, if you want to have a one-on-one meeting with any of us that are on this meeting, and would like to learn more information about this program, please reach out and let us know. I'd be happy to meet with anyone that is interested in learning more about the program or the next steps even. So please feel free to email us anytime. And we recorded this session, so if there's something that you want to go back and listen to at a later time, we will post this on our website so that it is available. And other than that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. And if you think of any questions afterwards, just please let us know.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.